I'm a little rusty on it.
I'll hum it for you.
All right. How is
everyone doing? All right, so I said it, and I did not want to lie to anybody. So we are here every Sunday. Let's do the intro really quickly. Actually, let's not get into it. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you might be watching this. My name is Josh, and welcome to my channel. On here, we talk news, politics, and current events, and play video games sometimes. You have found me on this particular day on what I plan on doing, what I hope to kind of keep the ball rolling on is a Sunday recap, if you will. You know, a lot of us, normal folks, we have to work. A lot of us, if we work retail, probably don't have Fridays and Saturdays off, which are non-streaming days for me, along with Thursday. So because of that, I miss out on a lot of news. I'm at work about 10 to 12 hours a day, so I don't really pay attention a whole lot. So I am here as we gather to catch up on some news, catch up on some interesting stories that I was able to source and find over the last couple of days, and kind of present them to you. Sometimes these are going to be the big ones. I'll certainly try to get the big ones, but I think also, you know, it might be interesting to spend a little bit of time on some stories that didn't get as much play elsewhere, elsewhere on the internet. Hopefully, I don't, not 100% sure what other people are showing, but again, this is for my own stream. Anyway, what am I blathering on about? What do we have today? All right, so honestly, I couldn't find much for Thursday. I was like looking for a few things happening Thursday. Yes, I am aware of the news going on with the Iranian president. For the record, that's a Sunday story. We're not, usually some news doesn't break Sundays. This is a unique day when something interesting has happened. Here's my entire take on it. Probably not great. Probably going to create a bit of strife in the country. That's my entire take. So before anybody asks what my thoughts are, probably not great. Probably going to create a bit of strife. I'm sure we'll all be here in another week and we'll still kind of be in the same place. So that'll be Sundays. That's at least the plan as of right now. I know I say that a lot of times. I have plans, and then what can I say? I get tired working 3 12s in a row. But we endeavor to move on. So let's move on. What was this? On Friday was this? Actually, let's start with the Sam Alito story over the weekend. Yeah. I saw this Friday, or at least I saw the headline. So, Friday, there was a certain flag that got spotted at the local residence of one of our Supreme Court justices. Now, you might be saying to yourself, do we really need to care about the kinds of, political messaging, personal political messaging on the doorstep of a Supreme Court justice? Is that really the purview of the American people? Certainly, I don't think, it's not really my business, or I think anybody's business, to tell somebody what they can and cannot display, in front of or on their home. I think that's, you own your home. I think that's kind of your space after that point. But certainly it's a bit of a cause for concern when a Supreme Court justice, mind you, do I even need to say the whole lifetime appointment? Not one of the, what's the word? The law speakers, one might say, for the entire nation, somebody who decides how we interpret law. It is a bit concerning when we get a naked view into where their politics are. And oftentimes you can kind of tell where folks' politics are. But usually they're not as shocking as this. So let's go take a look at what seemed to cause such a new, not the biggest news cycle, obviously, but I think worthwhile talking about. I'm still getting used to having the hotkeys, so you'll forgive me. I'm still getting used to it.
Biden stole the 2020 presidential election, which led to the violent January 6th insurrection, is alive and well. A CBS investigation found that there are nearly 80 officials overseeing elections across 7 battleground states who don't believe the 2020.
Now, we'll get to Sam Alito, but does anybody else think that's probably, if we lived in a country, for any of the conservatives out there, if we lived in a country where there were, people running elections who genuinely thought Hillary Clinton won the election, like they thought she was running the government while Trump was in office, or that they were, there was a like shadow president, all that stuff. Don't you think that would be a bit concerning? And I know what the conservatives are going to say. They're going to say, like, what do you mean? All the liberals said that she actually won the popular vote. Well, that's factually true, but she lost. Anybody who says that like Hillary Clinton won something other than like the most amount of votes, which isn't how we decide, which I think is kind of silly, but that's a different conversation. That person is a bit insane. But like, are those people running elections? And are those people Supreme Court justices? I think that's important to. I think that's an important bar to pass there.
On the campaign trail Saturday, former President Donald Trump again lied about his 2020 defeat.
But they want to rig that just like they rigged the presidential election of 2020. They want to rig it.
And we also learned this week that a symbol of the Stop the Steal movement reached the highest court in the land. The New York Times reported that in January of 2021, an upside-down American flag, an emblem now widely associated with the lie of a stolen 2020 election, was flying at the home of Supreme Court Justice Samuel Alito. I spoke with Jody Cantor, the New York Times reporter who broke.
Now, what's always funny to me is like, everyone will do like the, well, how do we know he just didn't like put it up incorrectly? Or how do we, is this really, Josh, is this really like, an upside down flag? Is this really like, is this really a signal? But folks, have you ever put your flag up in the morning? Have you ever put that, when you went out, you woke up, you took a shit, you let the dog out, you walked out and you pulled the little string to raise your flag for the day. Now, let me ask you something. When you did that, did you put it the correct way? Did you check the first time, and do you check every single time, or do you think he flipped it upside down and then raised it in I don't even know, protest? I can't say for sure. But certainly it's a bit concerning. He'll say, oh, I just accidentally put it upside down, when I think we all fairly know the same way, you're not, I don't think anybody's checking and stringing their flag, if they even have a flag to run at their personal, home.
The story earlier today. We discussed the implications of such a symbol flying at Alito's home 11 days after rioters stormed the Capitol.
I kind of want to start.
Oh, this was 11. Oh, I didn't even know that. I thought this was like at least a year out. So, okay, so let's be clear then. 11 days prior, or 11 days after this event, this dude's flying a flag that a bunch of people stormed the Capitol with. Like, come on. And this is the problem. This is the thing. This is something that, like, we need to, I think, reckon with on a real scale, which is, this is not a case like what we are experiencing with this Supreme Court justice showing us, letting the mask slip. What have we always heard? The Supreme Court is not a political institution. They are simply there to interpret the law, that they are not influenced by everyday politics. And we've known that's a lie. We've all, like, there is not a single person in this world who could possibly believe that the most powerful interpreters of our laws are not influenced by the current events and daily what's the word, and daily systems that we all live under, right? Because what is politics? Politics is how we decide how we run our society. And you don't think to think that some of the people who would be appointed to one of the highest positions in said society doesn't have opinions, that they are not swayed by, again, like I said, current events, modern day real politics, all of that. Like somehow they're just immune to that. They're not. They're absolutely not. And Alito allowing this to slip is another case where I think I take it as another sign that that the Supreme Court as an institution is critically broken, that it is compromised, because nowhere do I think, the same way Clarence Thomas just does not report his gifts of multiple thousands of dollars, the same way he does not report those gifts to the reporting board, to the ethics board at the Supreme Court, is the same reason why Sam Alito has no problem going out there and putting that flag up. Because he believes, both of them believe, that they're past the point where they need to care about, they need to care about objectivity, that they need to care about the will of the people, that they are beholden to anything other than what they are able to interpret. Understand, their role is to interpret the Constitution, meaning they have the last word on every single decision that Congress makes, the Supreme Court makes, to pass laws. They get last say on if that's even within the bounds of allowability. So, to them, they think, I don't have to care about that. You think I have to care about my corruption? You think I have to care? You think, Sam Alito certainly has to be thinking, you think I have to prove to you that I'm not biased? Do you think I owe you that? I owe the American people my unbiased opinion on the law? No. Most certainly he doesn't believe that. And these are the people that the Republican Party has stacked the court with. These are the kinds of people.
What they saw, they're walking down the street during this very fraught period, as you say, right after January 6th, but also critically, it's 3 days before President Biden's inauguration, and they see this upside down flag hanging outside.
Like, you put your flag up once, you pull it down if it's bad weather, but you don't hang it every morning. That's just not a normal thing people do. He absolutely unhooked this, flipped it over, hooked it back up, and then strung it back up. There's no arguing against this one. You would have to you would have to lie to yourself so thoroughly.
The Alito home. At this point, that flag had really become a symbol of the Stop the Steal campaign. And neighbors are just having a kind of what the heck reaction. Because first of all, these are Washington, D.C. area people. They know that federal judges are never supposed to make political displays. That is a very bedrock rule.
Which again, they're not supposed to, because we're supposed to believe that they're neutral. We ask them to not publicly display their personal politics, in the understanding that, or at the very least with a hope that the American people believe that they'll be unbiased, that they actually are unbiased, when we know that to be the farthest thing from the truth. There is no such thing as an unbiased human being. Same with every centrist that I've ever talked to that doesn't, I'm not right, I'm not left, I'm like down the center, I don't, stop. This isn't like, nobody is without opinions on how the society that they live in functions. It's just not a thing that happens. There are people who say, I just go to work, I come home, I do my job. Brother, that daytime process is managed by the society that you live in. Society breaks down, say goodbye to that routine. And people like that usually are incentivized by keeping that routine the way it is. So, again, it's just there aren't unbiased. That's not a thing. I don't believe there is a single human that is unbiased when it comes to politics broadly, especially when it comes to local politics. You might say like, oh, is local the same as national? I think at this point, the gradations between those have broken down quite a bit.
And second of all, they're looking at and saying, wait a second, are the Alitos insurrectionists who oppose the peaceful transfer of power?
Yes, they are.
It leads to these bedrock questions about
also,
law
no,
and
it's
trust.
not. Like, this is also the problem. There's not some issue when it comes to like the MAGA crowd. And we are going to, and I do want to look at a video after we're done with the recap. I do have a video that I pulled. Because like, if you ask me, like, do I think Sam Alito and do I think a lot of like the MAGA crowd care about, what am I thinking? Care about peaceful transfers of power? Yeah, absolutely. They care about when there is a peaceful transfer of power to them. I don't think there is an element to their politics that says that they desire a peaceful transfer. It's that they desire to continually hold power. I don't think the January 6th people and all that, and all of them are looking to live in a world where, the transfer of power isn't upheld from administration to administration. I just think they don't like, and they didn't like seeing themselves go out of the White House and out of the power center. I think that's the biggest element. It's not that it was peaceful. It was that they lost. And peaceful, unpeaceful, doesn't matter. A loss for them is a loss for them. And they're going to fight tooth and nail. And this is the problem a lot of the times with liberals, is that they are willing to hand power peacefully over to those types of people. And they will look liberals straight in the eye and go, thank you for upholding the peaceful transfer of power, right before they begin to strip rights away.
And rules and democracy.
In response to your reporting, Justice Alito said that he had,
Jesus.
quote, no
What a
involvement
ghoul.
in placing the flag, that his wife, Mrs. Alito, put up the flag in response to a neighbor of theirs, a display that they had. So
You couldn't
I just
convince
want
me
to dive
that
into this, because
that
what
woman-
are the implications of his response? Did he
You
not know
you
that
can't
this
convince
upside
you
down
couldn't convince me
flag was
otherwise.
flying outside of his home for multiple days?
Well, the response is a fascinating one because, first of all, he's not denying that it was there. He's not denying knowledge.
I mean, there is a
there.
photo.
And he's not denying that this was a Stop the Steal symbol. He's making a kind of surprise.
And again, this guy, understand, Sam Alito is not your like fucking HVAC repairman who went down to January 6th. He's not your crazy uncle. He's not like the small business owner, who flew out because he really liked the tax cuts that Trump passed and are a bit weird when it comes to the Christian nationalism. Like, that's not who Sam Alito is. Sam Alito is highly educated and as elite as it possibly gets. And this guy believes this nonsense. That's how terrifying this should be to most people.
Surprising argument, which is to say, even though this was my home, and even though judicial ethics rules are all about the impression of a lack of fairness,
did I say host something? I'm not sure what you're referring to.
They're not only focused on what you actually do as a judge, they're focused on the impression you give other people. And he's saying, despite all of that,
no, you're fine.
This was, just something my wife did and part of a neighborhood spat.
Why does this revelation?
You're like, Sam Alito's like, oh, sorry, that was just my wife needling the liberals down the street. They were, they were getting really, negative. They're getting really negative about like the whole Jan 6 riot. So we thought it would be fun to like needle them. Like, Christ.
Matter now as the court prepares
Yes,
to
yeah.
rule on 2 cases involving the January 6th insurrection.
In the next few weeks, we are going to get 2 major decisions from the Supreme Court that are going to shape the legacy of January 6th, the accountability for January 6th, former President Trump's scope of accountability. It may shape the future criminal trial if one takes place. It could really also directly affect the next election because polls are showing that whether or not former President Trump is convicted might have some impact on what voters think of him. So the court already had an enormous challenge in getting these decisions kind of accepted by the American people. It's such a partisan time. Everything is so fractured. These cases are so politically fraught. It makes it much more challenging for the court to earn.
Are you referring to me when you say host? I just want to like be clear. It seems like you are. Well, what is this? Sorry. My chat's now moved and I have to get used to it being on the absolute other side of my monitor. Sorry, Sam and his wife, yeah. Who is it? Trump will be there as President Trump? Well, you always refer to a president as a former president as president. That's why people still say President Obama, even though obviously not a president. I kind of don't know why. I'm assuming it's like a respect thing, but I mean, I don't know. Like it was a job. I feel like it's not like I still get called my title from old jobs.
Broad acceptance of whatever their legal reasoning is and whatever the outcome is.
Alito isn't the only Supreme Court justice with apparent ethics violations.
Talking about Trump as no. I that's just how presidents are referred to even after their stint in office. They're still just called President Trump. That's all. Nah, that's not correct. I've heard people still call Obama President Obama. You've never heard somebody be like, President Obama? Because people were still calling Biden VP Biden. What's it called? Even like between Obama leaving and Trump's first term, he was still Vice President Joe Biden. Senators, yeah. It's weird. I don't really like get it. Again, I think it's like a respect thing for the position, or like I don't know. I'm not like personally tied to it. It's just the thing people say.
Violations. Justice Clarence Thomas's wife, Ginny Thomas, was directly involved in the efforts.
I fucking completely forgot about this lady. What is up with the fucking conservative justices, man? Their fucking wives are like oh my god, there's like a phrenology to their like awful takes. Like look at like this is fucking Clarence Thomas's wife. You can hear the "can I speak to the manager?" Like you can hear it immediately upon looking at her. And where the fuck is Alito's? Like Jesus Christ, she looks like Corella de fucking Ville. I don't know. I guess it just comes with the politics. I don't know.
Directly involved in the efforts to overturn the 2020 election.
They're probably scapegoating their wives. It seems like Alito's scapegoating his wife.
Cases. Do you think that this time will be any different?
So recusal is an interesting question. On the one hand,
an interesting question that they're not going to do. They're not going to recuse themselves from stuff they're involved in.
Conduct for judges. That's really the ethics code. That's voluntary. The court recently adopted a new one. It's pretty loose. It's not that strong.
Imagine, like, we all probably work regular 9-to-5 normal jobs. Imagine just being able to voluntarily just be like, the whole like ethics thing of working here. I'm just, some of it I'm okay with, some of it I'm not. I'll kind of let you know as it comes up. Like, these are some of the highest positions in our government, and these guys get to just like on like code of conduct and ethics. That's just like maybe I follow it, maybe I don't, you know. You can't tell, you know. And if you challenge them, what do they always do? They run back to, they're like, the Constitution says that you can't tell us that. The Constitution doesn't say anywhere that you're allowed to enforce anything onto us. Only we can enforce stuff onto ourselves. So in turn, we are not going to enforce anything on us for the rest of eternity. We're actually going to make it a rule now. It's now in the Constitution. That's how it's been interpreted. Good fucking luck. Like that's literally their fucking argument at this point.
That is what governs things like political displays. The second set of rules we're dealing with is a federal recusal statute that binds all federal judges, including Supreme Court justices. But at the Supreme Court, it's essentially self-administered, and the court has said that justices have to police their own recusal. So I don't think Justice Alito has spoken directly to this, but as you know, he was already involved in the case, and I don't see any sign right now that he's planning to recuse himself halfway through the process.
Like actual fucking
Finally,
insanity.
to stop the steal lies about a stolen 2020 election, having
Actual
run away,
fucking insanity.
Donald Trump continues to say that he won in 2020. Election denialism is essentially a litmus test for entrance to the GOP. What do you think this flag incident means looking forward to the 2024 election?
And that's also an element to this that I think that isn't like, maybe we're just not reckoning with because we're not close enough to the election, but you better be damn sure that we are going to have to reckon with once, you know, like September rolls around. You're going to be hearing a lot of people go, wait a minute. Election denialism is a litmus test now for entrance into the GOP. Like that, like I grew up, my dad is a pretty staunch conservative, like listened to like all my life through the 90s and early 2000s. You want to know what I learned? Listened every single day going into school. Every single day, my dad would play 2 shows. Don Imus, actually 3. Don Imus, Rush Limbaugh, and what was the other? And Mark Levin. Those 3 shows I heard every morning heading into school. Not every morning. My parents are separated, so every morning he took me to school. But every one of those mornings, I had to listen to those 3 guys spout on about politics. Now, back then, all 3 of them were on the fringe of the Republican Party, along with Andrew Breitbart and his website. Those kinds of guys were not the mainstream Republican. They were the fairly obvious white supremacists, you know, like adjacent, friendly, you know, guys who just wanted the world to go back to when people who look like them were on top, and when we didn't have to worry about hiring people of color for all these positions that they weren't, you know, all that stuff. And their politics now, like what I see these days, is how much their politics have become the mainstream Republican Party position on things. Like Marjorie Taylor Greene, when she got elected, I remember thinking, holy shit, this woman is literally 1-to-1 with like a Mark Levin in the early 2000s, like late 90s, early 2000s. These newer Republican candidates are bred from that right-wing talk radio sphere of the 90s and 2000s. And we are now seeing, and that's where Trump came from, a lot of it is the cult of personality in those spaces. But we are now seeing like what that is. We're seeing the fruits of that labor by those guys to poison that party. That party has grown exponentially less democratic over the last couple of years. Over the last, I'd say mainly about 20 years. I think 9/11 was probably the last time we were going to see normal Republican Party candidates be successful was pre 9/11. we are now out in the wild, I think, in terms of what is possible for Republican Party candidates. There's no more brakes on the car. There is no more of the and here's the other end problem of that. We have a Democratic Party that doesn't recognize this. We have a Democratic Party that is simply not capable of recognizing the threat in front of them, of recognizing where the Republican Party is, because they still think it's the Republican Party of pre-9/11, and it's not. After 9/11, this country voted in, yes, Bush, but when it was a full reset, this country voted in a guy named Barack Hussein Obama, and the right wing lost their fucking minds for 8 long years. For 8 years. We heard about how, like, Dijon mustard and brown suits, that was the news back then. And we are now seeing the result of that brain rot, of that conditioning. We see it now clearer than ever. Like this party's just fucked, dude. Like they have done, and this is the part where we also have to reckon, I think, folks on the left and Democratic voters have to reckon with, is that they have played the game of politics so much better than Democrats have. That's just a fact. There is no getting around that. They have played this game of politics so much better. And because of that, again, Democrats just they don't know how to beat these guys. They just don't. They don't know how to beat a lot of these Republican candidates because they don't understand the kinds of candidates that are being successful anymore. But anyway, I'm just ranting at this point. Should we, let's go look at some Trump voters. Matter of fact, I said I had this video. We're going to look at a Politico study, a political analysis, afterwards. But let's go look at this video of, what's it called? Of Trump supporters. I know I'm kind of beating up on voters a little bit in terms of like my whole spiel over the last minute or 5. And then obviously it's going to be a bit of the same here, but I don't want people to think that this is just like me blustering because, just because I share opposing politics. I do share opposing politics, but like, this is kind of where we're at. Maybe one day we should go back and listen to some of those old tapes from like Rush and them. Maybe one of these days. I don't know how to find a good archive of that, but I'll see. Vidalia, Ohio.
Trump is my president, and it's a great talking point. But we live our life that way. We believe in the Bible. We work hard. We pray. We go to church, and I try to instill those values in my children.
All right. Yeah, I'm just gonna do it. What values, ma'am? No, seriously. Can we go back for a second? Like, what values?
It's a great talking point, but we live our life that way. We believe in the Bible.
Okay.
We work hard. We pray.
Sure.
We go to church.
Now, isn't that funny? It's always like the, what is it? The Protestant work ethic. We work hard. There's like a moral, there's a moral tie between like working hard and being good. Like, you can't work hard and be awful or something. Like, it's always, but also it's like, oh, we believe in the Bible. That's the values we teach. What? Like, can you tell me what the values of the Bible? As somebody who grew up, I shouldn't say I grew up, as somebody who attended Catholic school for the first, when was that? First couple of years of school. I'm always really suspicious of people who just say that, like, whose we have values is just we believe in the Bible. The Bible is not, at least the way I was taught, the Bible is not this document that you just like read and not think about, that you don't critically think about what's going on in the Bible, what it's trying to teach you. But a lot of these people, unfortunately, and this is just a lot of people in general. It's religion, what can I say? But a lot of people just read the Bible and that's it. They whatever their individual pastor says, whatever their individual interpreter is, that's the version they go with. Instead of what it should be, which is you read the Bible critically, hopefully, and you try to extract some lesson from it. Instead of just being God says this, God says that, you should know why God says this and says that. Knowing what God said is knowing what God said. Knowing why God said something, now that's knowledge. That is actual faith, in my opinion. This is just, this version of faith, I guess. I just don't have a respect for it. I just don't. I don't. Like, I'm not religious. I went to Catholic school. I'm agnostic. I'm not religious, but I just don't respect like this entire take. Like, it's like, that's it. You just read it and that. Anyway,
and I try to instill those values in my children. And
like,
President
please,
Trump
for
definitely has
God, ask what values.
Trump has essentially made
like
what
charity,
is known in evangelical circles. He's kind of borrowed this logic of substitutionary atonement, and the idea behind substitutionary atonement is, that Jesus died for your sins.
Also,
and
if there's
Trump
any
has
lefties
actually
out there
borrowed
who's
that
watching this stream,
language. We've seen him
these
saying,
people fucking vote.
I'm being indicted.
These
for
people
Will witness
participate.
the commencement of the very first Biden trial. They're all Biden trials. You know that, right? And I'm proud to do it for you.
There's virtually no debate this time about whether Trump is an appropriate candidate for someone who claims to be Christian, someone who claims to...
Holy shit. Bro, what the fuck is going on with this guy? Wait a minute. Hold the fucking... I know Trump is tall, but holy fuck, he's on a platform, right? Like, my dude looks like a fucking action figure compared to Trump. He's so tiny. He's so fucking tiny. What is going on? Why is he...
claims to...
Why did he, like, do that stance? Like, that stance was, like, fucking... It looked like Trump fucking summoned a goddamn Pokemon.
To be Christian, someone who
fucking
claims to value morality and character and all the kinds of things that white evangelicals have always said they value.
My faith in Jesus is very important, and I know there's...
And let's be clear, the fact that there's no debate when their alternative is Joe fucking Biden, like super fucking Catholic Joe Biden, like, come the fuck on. It's because it's not because these people have found a better believer in Christ. It's that this guy already shares a lot of the same anxieties, or I should say, speaks to the anxieties that they already have, already says the things they want to hear, and they've just decided, because I've heard the arguments before, he's, an imperfect vessel? Like, really? That's your big argument? Imperfect vessel? Like, come on, spare me. It was never about the religion for these folks. It just wasn't. It was always just about attaining power and about, what's the word I would use? Fundamentalism. It was just about forwarding their fundamentalism. Because keep in mind, these are the same people. These are the same people who are rooting for Israel right now in their genocide of the Palestinian people. These are the same people who are rooting for them so that they can control Jerusalem, so that the rapture fucking happens. Like, there's not enough of a degree of separation at this point. Like these people are just, they're just not. They don't. The religion stuff is just window dressing. That's all it ever is. That's all it ever was, I should say.
There's a leader, Donald J. Trump, who was already president, who did a great job when he was in office, who's coming back and will reinstate those values, will reinstate godliness in the office and in our country.
I follow.
You know, like they do like the, oh, but he's been divorced. Isn't that like aren't you supposed to not do that? Oh, well, you know, come on. Like, they've always got excuses.
Donald Trump's campaign all across the United States. We sell merchandise. The God, Guns, and Trump, that's probably one of my best-selling shirts. And has been
Bro, my
for
dude,
the last
my
2 or
dude
3
is picking
years
up
or so.
paychecks. You know
Yeah.
there is nothing. You know that there is nothing that an Ohio white evangelical voter loves doing more than buying 2A merch from a black man. You know, you and I both know that. They get to buy their merch and they get to go and they get to do 2 things. They get to go, see, I can't be racist. I just bought this 2A shirt from this black guy. And then you know, deep down they go like, shit, we let this black guy sell shit on the outside of the Trump rally. Crazy.
Republican sidelines more so.
I can't imagine being this guy also. Can you imagine how many of the you're one of the good ones comments he gets?
Getting rid of the LGBTQ, in terms of
Yep.
freedom of speech.
If I had to do this interview and I knew I was gonna make money, I'd just be like, we get rid of the LGBTQ.
Many of these views. The overwhelming.
I genuinely don't believe that guy believes anything besides
I think
the dollar bill.
Connecting white evangelicals to Trump is
like that
less
is
about
such a good
abortion per
fucking
se.
grift, and I
It's
respect
more
it.
about a kind of ethno-religious vision of the country, and it is about being a white Christian nation.
Probably the number one issue on my heart would be abortion. I would say
Have fun with that. That's too bad. That's a losing fucking issue.
Those are some very big things that we look at as well, and so that's why we chose to come to the Trump rally.
Yes, he made this decision solely on the basis of the abortion issue.
In many ways, what we're seeing is this clash of 2 different visions of how Christianity and democracy connect.
Stop. Okay. No breaking TOS now. I do not feel like having to fucking re-edit the stream or whatever, because there's like 2 seconds of copyrighted music. All right, let's take a look at this Politico analysis real quick. Oh my goodness, apologies. All right, where is it? Here we go. All right, so Politico recently released an analysis of the campaign finance filings of both candidates, Trump and Biden, and I want to kind of take a look. Now, those of you who maybe don't live in the US or who don't know how our elections work, this is pretty much how it works. If you would like to run for president of the United States, it costs millions of dollars. As a matter of fact, I can probably how much to run for thank you. Let's see. What is the what is a can I just get a general? No, not the 4 requirements, god damn it. Wait. How much money to run? How much money to run for president? Let's see. Voting age, population, expenditure limitations. Jesus. Can I just get like a general? Let's see. Between now and the election 2020, candidate who makes it all the way will have to raise $500. Okay, let's just use $500 million. $500 million fucking dollars to run for president. It's a lot of money. Now, to do that, obviously, nobody has, I guess I shouldn't say nobody. There's like 2 people, conceivably, that have that much that they can just spend at it. They can just swipe their debit card like a bajillion times. But for most candidates, they have to tap into fundraising. Fundraising from special interest groups, fundraising from some, I know Democrats get their funding from union donations, from unions that fund from their donation pool. Obviously just small dollar donors. Those are the calls that you get during the election season. Those are the letters you get. Those are the emails that you get. asking for. I'm sorry, it's late. What can I say? Asking for donations so that they can run their campaign. Let's go take a look. Now, and a big problem with that overall, obviously, is, as I've said this before, if you're a politician, whose call are you taking? The person who donated $5 to you, or the person who donated like $50,000, $1 million to you? You can kind of see how almost immediately how the more money you at the end of the day donate, the more likely it is your call is going to get taken. Now you might say, Josh, I've heard, or aren't there limits on the amount of money that you can donate to a politician? You would be correct. In this country, we have something, luckily we have a way to get around almost everything. For this case, it's called super PACs. These are basically organizations that fundraise on behalf of candidates, bundle money together, and then donate that to the candidate. They're not regulated nearly as heavily, which means you can donate, any one person maybe can only donate, I believe the limit is like $3,500 or something like that. Let me go take a look. Individual limit. Let's see, limit. I don't know. Donate politician. Political campaign. Let's see. What are the limits on political? What is the limit of individual contribution to a political action committee? Okay, here we go. No, that's no. Straight to the campaign, guys. Okay. Individual recipient party committee national. Individual is $41,000 a year. That doesn't seem right. To donate directly, maybe? To political parties? I know that there is a number. I don't remember what it is. And I don't remember it being incredibly high. I mean, even if it's 41K, that's still rather low. Especially when people... Point being... So I don't end up just looking for this forever. Point being, what was I going to say? You can only donate so much as an individual. There is a limit to how much you can donate directly to a campaign as an individual. But you can donate to an organization, which then can bundle, thousands upon thousands of individual donations with no spending limit to then donate, to then hand over to the campaign. Boom, bada boom. Now you've got like millions upon millions of dollars. That is how it works for both parties. So, whenever people say like, oh, the parties are, both the parties are corrupt, they're right. Whenever anybody says that Democrats are controlled opposition, I'd say that's not wholly wrong. My general take, just for the record, is I don't know how much of them are controlled opposition so much as they are just not very good at politics, but they are kind of forced to be the opposing party. So, all that being said, let's go take a look at who's actually donating to Biden and who's donating to Trump. Donald Trump's political operation had a startling weakness as the general election kicked off this year. He had been spending money almost as quickly as he was raising it, leaving him at a significant cash disadvantage against President Joe Biden. Trump's cash woes have been well documented, but a new political analysis shows just how he got there over 15 months from the early stages of his campaign in 2023 through March of this year, when he effectively dispatched his GOP challengers. Most of his money wasn't spent on campaigning. Trump's complicated web of political committees spent roughly $217 million through March, with that spending split roughly equally between the fundraising expenses, legal bills, and actual campaigning. But the same network of groups brought in a bit shy of $220 million in new contributions. Trump is hardly broke. He had $45 million in his campaign account at the end of March. But the high expense rate significantly limited his ability to build up cash. Let's see. Donald Trump for president, contributors excluding transfer, 1.6 million, spending 65.5 million, cash on hand 45. Save America joint fundraising, 194.5 million, 69.9 nice spending, 13.7 million cash on hand. Trump 47 joint fundraising. Let's zoom this in, shall we? Oh my God, that's way too far. That looks good. Trump 47, 23.5 million, 292K, holy shit. And 12.7 million spending. Oh, that's not bad then, I guess. Save America, negative $446,000, spending $67.4 million. Cash on hand is 4.1. MAGA PAC, 522,000, spending 14.2 million. Cash on hand is 43,000. Total 219.7 million, spending 217 million. Cash on hand is 75. Note: Save America's contributions are negative because it refunded more money than it received in new direct contributions for all groups. Sending figures include operating expenditures and other disbursements, less offsets. That is among the findings of the detailed political analysis of Trump's and Biden's sprawling money machines, which are more complex than ever this cycle. The examination of combined campaign finance filings through the end of March, the most recent filings available for presidential campaigns and other linked committees from every group involved in their political operations, tracing the flow of funds from the early stages of the campaign to the kickoff of the general election. Was that one fucking sentence? No, it wasn't. The examination. God damn, guys. Ever hear of a fucking run-on? At that stage, Biden had nearly double the cash on hand of Trump in their respective campaign accounts, but the president's advantage was actually even bigger. More money was still in the Biden's pipeline through joint fundraising committees, groups that raise funds for multiple campaigns or committees than Trump's. Trump has made fairly significant changes to his campaign fundraising operations since launching 2 new joint fundraising committees. One of those is now the primary digital fundraising vehicle for his campaign. The Republican National Committee also uses the group, meaning Trump gets a substantial cut from the National Party's online donations. His campaign has also sought to monetize other Republican groups that use his image in fundraising appeals. Man, my dude will really just take the cash for anything you put his face or name on. And his ongoing criminal trial in New York City could be a significant revenue stream of its own, given how his team has successfully fundraised off past legal woes. The various groups, both new and old, file financial reports on different schedules and only line up a few times each year. While Trump and Biden's campaigns will file new campaign finance reports on Monday, the next comprehensive portrait of all groups won't be possible until late July. That will reveal whether Trump's trial and his committees have helped him make up ground or whether Biden has continued to grow his advantage. Now, something we also kind of have to reckon with, I think, a little bit, is the way we talk about elections and kind of the way that we speculate on them a little bit. Because I don't know about you guys, but I don't find it to be incredibly reassuring that the way in which we calculate success in a campaign is down to dollars raised. Now, while I understand that is certainly a metric that is important and one that is probably, I would say, right up there, somewhere in the 1 and number 2 position, I also just find it really gross that what our elections have come to at this point are money races, are rat races. That is what our elections have come to. Because the message that you're trying to put out is really secondary to the money that you're able to raise and able to spend. And some people might say oh, well, getting the message out is more important than the message, which, yeah, maybe, I don't know, maybe that's true. I just find that to be, I personally just find that to be incredibly depressing and a real, a real critique against our system and the way that we approach elections and electoralism. But let's see. I agree. I think it would be probably better without super PACs. Candidates just had to do podcasts and stuff. Honestly, yeah. Not just podcasts, but I think I talked about this a little bit on the last stream, that there's still like negotiations going on about debates, right? About presidential debates and everything. Like, that's insane. The idea that to run for president, you are not required, like as a requirement to even enter in the position, you have to debate your opponent. You have to get up somewhere on like a public network, you know, and debate your opponent. Like, the idea that that's something that both of them could just go, I don't even want to debate. Fuck that guy. I'm out. I'm not even going to bother with it. And there is nothing to hold either of them accountable for that. That's actually insane. And, you know, when it comes down to it, who's going to be the front runner? It's going to be who can spend the most amount of money. And we did see a bit of a shirk in this in the Trump and Clinton race, which, I mean, you know, that should show you that I guess, like, you know, it's not all that, but it's, you know, like, you know, it's kind of like the exception proves the rule kind of deal, you know? And instead of being visible, and this is the problem that Biden's going to have, instead of being visible to the public, like, you're running to be the representative of every single one of us, you and me. I guess you and me. I always do whatever. But like, these people want to sit in the highest office of this country and represent every citizen here, but yet have no interest in appearing publicly and, you know, vulnerably in front of all of us. Like, obviously, Trump wants a public debate, obviously. Because, you know, but, you know, he only wants it on certain grounds, and he wants this and he doesn't want that, and Biden wants this, and Biden, I'd be like, fuck all of that. We need like a public board to be like, no. You're doing it on this day. If you back out, you're out. That's it. You're out of the race. You're done. You can't, we're not continuing this. Something. I don't know. The state of our democracy is so fucking trash because of how much we've privatized all of it. It's just turned into a marketing business. Most of Trump's political money hasn't gone to campaigning. Yeah, I think we actually heard about this. Let's see. Organizations, cash available or remaining. Okay. Trump Save America, campaign spending, Trump campaign, campaign spending, fundraising, Trump, other campaign expenditures, Save America, legal bills, right? Other Save America spending, RNC. Interesting. MAGA Incorporated, independent expenditures, MAGA Inc. Interesting. Politico's analysis covers only through the end of March and then does not include unofficial April numbers circulated by campaigns. Trump's money has streamed through half a dozen different groups. I mean, the dude probably knows how to launder money, let's be honest. Let's see. Trump's money has streamed through Donald J. Trump for President 2024 Incorporated, his official campaign. Save America, a leadership PAC that funded many of his political activities before he launched his 2024 bid, and has since spent millions on legal bills linked to Trump's civil and criminal troubles. Trump Save America, a joint fundraising committee that raises money for the campaign. Make America Great Again. Yeah, we get the point. We get the idea. There's also a super PAC, Make America Great Again Incorporated, that has direct financial links to Trump's operation, refunding tens of millions of dollars to Save America for contributions that Save America made in 2022 before Trump was a candidate. Those funds have helped Trump's political operation stay afloat over the past year. But unlike the other committees, MAGA Incorporated is not controlled by Trump, and it is not subject to contribution limits. Lovely. Across Trump's political operation, spending was nearly evenly divided in three major categories: fundraising, legal bills, and campaigning, with just a few $1 million going to the other expenses. Let's see. Of the three major categories, fundraising was the most costly, with $70 million spent, representing just shy of 1/3 of the operation's overall spending. Joint fundraising committees are only allowed to spend on raising more dollars, so all their expenses are classified as fundraising. Those expenditures were primarily made through Trump Save America as the primary fundraising vehicle. Until recently, the committee spent heavily on the tools that have powered Trump's digital fundraising operation, including nearly $20 million on digital consulting and online advertising, $15.1 million on direct mail and postage, $12.1 million on merchandise and merchant fees, $7.3 million, Jesus, in fundraising fees paid to digital firms, and $4.5 million on text messaging. Wow. How do you spend that much on text messaging? What is this, fucking 2004? While a robust fundraising operation supports strong campaigning, Trump Save America spent more than Biden's joint fundraising committees while raising less. The second largest Trump expense category is legal fees. Politico's analysis counts campaign legal spending, normal part of the running of the presidency, under campaign expenditures. Thank you. By contrast, campaign spending accounts a bit more than half that was been spent. Okay, yeah, I want to see Biden. Biden Action Fund. All this shit. I'm assuming that's a dollar sign over there. Biden Victory Fund. Victory Fund, Victory Fund, Victory Fund, Victory Fund. Campaign, campaign, campaign. Makes sense. Yeah, really. What do they always tell you? Standard messaging rates apply. Biden's campaign network is simpler than Trump's. It includes his official campaign, Biden for President, Biden Victory Fund, a joint fundraising committee that includes his campaign, Democrat, and the DNC, and state parties, Biden Action Fund, joint fundraising committee that includes just his campaign and the DNC. Naturally, Biden, like Trump, has super PACs supporting him, but his committees have no direct financial ties to them. Those three groups had collectively raised $365 million, Jesus, through the end of March, and spent $138 million on an additional $79 million transferred to the DNC and state parties. Democratic president's political operation was also still holding on to a lot of cash in its pipeline, more than $40 million in the Biden Victory Fund and $19 million in the Biden Action Fund. While not all the money will go to Biden's campaign, a large chunk of it will. Trump had far less money waiting to be transferred. His operation reported having $13.6 million. But simply, Biden raised more money, spent less of it on fundraising, and none of the legal costs. Saved more. Since early April, both Trump and the RNC have been spending. So, okay. With that being said, so Biden obviously spending less. Is that helping? I have not, for the record, I have not checked numbers in a while. Biden's approval looks to be not great. Are we not going to load? Are we not? Do we not like loading right now? Fine. No, I didn't want. No. Disapprove night. Jesus. No, what? But it doesn't. Okay. Bit confused by that. General election 2024. All right. Hi. Can I? Polling average. What is going on? Do I need to wait a minute. Do I need to turn off ad blocker for a second for it to properly function? Okay. Well, that's fucking weird. Am I? Okay. Well, yeah, definitely. Huh. Well, that's a new one. Who's the head national presidential sample? No, what the? Seriously? Okay. Well, I guess we'll just kind of read these. Biden, let's see. Echelon Insights. I wonder who this is. Oh. Cost of living, 23%, immigration, 15%, led the list of political issues. 39% approve of Biden job performance, while 58% disapprove. His net approval is -19, is down 6 points since April. Full presidential ballot has Trump at 43, Biden at 38, Kennedy at 9. Great. Just lovely. I don't know why this Stein's at 3, West, God. Man, isn't that funny? The gap. Isn't that just great? The fucking gap. If these two weren't here, and we still gave it to Kennedy. Hey. Trump up 5. Looks like they did 2. Both of them Trump's up. Granted, the one in 3 is probably within the margin of error. So what you're telling me right now is in a system that generally says that whoever spends the most amount of money is who's going to end up winning the presidency. And you're really telling me with a straight face that somehow Biden and the Democrats are not doing particularly well, even though they are far outpacing. I tell you, man, it's stark. It really is. It's stark to think about. I despair when I think about how bad Democrats are at this point. Okay. Well, I want to kind of take a look a little bit at, would you pick Kennedy over Trump or Biden? No, I wouldn't. If we lived in I think when it comes to voting, especially here in the United States, unfortunately, we have not just an electoral college system, but we also have a first past the post system. It's not a system designed for third party candidates. I'm not opposed to more or like third party or more candidates. I wouldn't pick Kennedy personally. Like out of the 3 choices, I will be voting for Biden. But certainly, like, I want to see a world where we have ranked choice, where, you have a way to support multiple candidates, which would allow for a lot more diversity in our voting. That's like the big part of it. And unfortunately, as of right now, it's just not possible. Kennedy being in the race is just, quite frankly, a waste of his time. Like, genuinely, it is a huge waste of his time, because he can't win. Like, he mathematically is incapable of winning, because the system was not built with the intention of a non party affiliated person to win the race. What they can be are spoilers for candidates. And like, Kennedy knows that, Trump knows that, everybody in politics understands this. Jill Stein knows this. As much as I like him, Cornel West knows this. It's a reason why I looked at both their names, and you add up both of their numbers and they close the gap between the two of them. So, I mean, there are 4% of voters who are going to vote, according to that, who are going to vote for Jill Stein or Cornel West. And if those people did not have those 2 options, the gap would be closed, giving Kennedy his 9%. The gap would be closed between those 2 candidates. And we still, I don't believe, based on his politics, I don't believe that RFK Jr. pulls from, I don't really believe that he pulls from Biden voters. I don't think he pulls from the same pool. I know that, or I don't, you get what I mean. He doesn't, there isn't a Democrat. There isn't like a normal Democrat who's seeing, I think, RFK Jr. and going like, that's what I wanted. I wanted like a little bit to the right, a little bit closer to Trump, but not too close to Trump. Like, I just don't think I don't think he has I don't think he has an avenue. I don't think he has an avenue to win. But either way, but yeah, I mean, well, I've said it, I say it before, almost after all of the election talk, it's always just, we'll find out. you know, as things get closer, you know, we're going to see how the polling tightens up. But let's see. Okay, so we have, what time is it? Okay. Trying to think. Should we No, let's do it. Let's go take a look. Since I talked about Biden, let's go take a look at Biden for a few minutes. Biden earlier today actually attended and did the commencement speech at the Morehouse College. I believe where the hell is it in where's Morehouse anyway? I actually don't know. That was gonna be my guess, was Georgia. I don't know, it just sounds like honestly a college in the South. But yeah, let's go. And apparently spoke on Gaza briefly. So let's go take a look. I wanna see what Biden said. You know, he's been quite what's the word? Disappointing on the Israel policy. So let's see if he can rally the troops, if he can bring it back for a little bit.
All the way in the back. Please, parents, grandparents, all will help. Stand up because we owe you a debt of gratitude. To all the family.
I'm going to let my ageism show a little bit on this one. Can y'all old folks sit the fuck down? God damn, man. Y'all have handed us millennials and Gen Zers like awful economies, awful housing markets. Like, can y'all just sit the like? I'm not clapping for y'all no more. Like, I'm fucking tired of it. I'll keep it like I'll keep it $100. Like, fuck, man. They asked me to fucking clap for old folks. It's just like, man, enough. We're all like unable to buy houses and everything else going on, and y'all want fucking applause. Wild to me.
That is not hyperbole. A lot of you, like my family, had to make significant sacrifices to get your kids to school. It mattered. It's mattered a lot. And the friends of Morehouse and the Morehouse men.
I gotta tell you, there's nothing I've grown more. There's nothing I've grown more in the last over these 30 years than fucking more ageist. Because goddamn, man.
And it's the best thing that's happened to me.
Fucking boomers. Don't put a boomer in front of me, man.
The prayers of a righteous man availeth much. In Augusta, Georgia,
Morehouse graduation turned their backs.
Once enslaved, set foot for freedom.
You know, and this is also, oh shit. Luckily, there's like no water in this anymore. I ran out. It's literally like, oh, there's a little bit. There's like a drop. What was I gonna say? Like, what's worse about this? What's worse about this to me is always like, it's always one of those things where, what is it? Biden's civil rights. I don't know, like, protest? Yeah, like, it's always one of these things where, like, you see Biden and it's like, oh yeah, fucking civil rights, fucking icon, oppose busing, everything else. And like, fuck, man, like, I know it's been said a million times, but goddamn, man, we could have had Bernard. Could have had a fucking, It's just, man, my man's got arrested. And Biden's over here doing a fucking commencement speech at a fucking HBC. God, so depressing.
The story goes He feared no evil. He walked through the valley of the shadow of death on his way north
Jesus?
to free soil.
Was that
Philadelphia?
what?
A Baptist minister.
Am I
He walked with faith in his soul, power in the steps of his feet.
crazy?
Glory. But after the Union won the war,
Uh-huh.
he knew his prayers availed him freedom that was not his alone. And so this righteous man, Richard Colton,
And like
returned home.
fuck, dude, this is the fucking guy.
His spirit in no ways tired.
Like, it's this guy.
57 years.
It's this guy who's supposed to appeal to everybody else, to all these kids and all their parents. It's this fucking guy. And the alternative is Trump with his, like, MAGA folks who are like, I believe in two things. I believe in Jesus and I believe in Trump. Like, it's just, oh my God.
Years ago,
This country's so fucking cooked, man.
than it should. In the basement of a Baptist church in Augusta, he
I
discovered
lament
ministers
more and
William
more.
Jefferson White and Edmund Turney planned
Some
to
cool
see
hats, though.
something
I'll give him that.
revolutionary.
There's some
And it
fucking
wasn't
fly-ass hats.
a school.
The burgundy's
helped
nice, too.
form
I like the
enslaved
burgundy.
men
I fucks with the
and their
burgundy.
ministry, where education would be the great equalizer from slavery to freedom, an institution of higher learning that would become Morehouse College.
Ugh.
I don't know any other college. in
Forbes,
America
are we
that
gonna
has
get to the
tradition
part
like
where,
that.
oh, wait.
So the class of
We're zooming in.
2024
Oh, there she is. Or, who
enjoying,
the fuck
as
is
you
that?
know, a sacred tradition. And
Yeah.
education makes you free, and Morehouse education makes you fearless. I mean it.
I love this fucking slow pan
Visionary,
into this
exceptional.
fucking chat in the
You are Morehouse men.
in the
God
crowd.
love you.
fucking biggest dickest energy you could ever fucking
I thank your families and your friends.
fucking put out there. Jesus, what a fucking Sigma. You want a Sigma? This is a Sigma right here.
Graduation day is a day for generations.
It says some. Is there more? Is there one guy?
They earned, not given.
There's one guy.
Gather on this Sunday
Thank you.
morning,
Thank you.
exuberant
Wait, has that guy
church
been
perhaps
like that
will
this
be
entire? Hold up, hold up,
reflected.
hold up, hold up, hold up.
Graduation, House College, tradition.
Also, my boy's got blue. Oh no, he okay. He was turning around the entire time. Okay, they just didn't notice him. Okay.
You are. And again, I thank your families and your friends who helped you. This graduation, a day earned. Exuberant church, perhaps it would be this reflection.
We got number
It's a
2.
reflection about resurrection.
Can I get it? Can I get a number 3?
Remember, Jesus
Can I get a
was buried on
third?
Friday, and it was Sunday. On Sunday, he rose again.
Okay, we don't need to keep, even though that is a fly ass
But
scarf.
we don't
What is
talk
that?
enough about Saturday.
Whatever the blue is, it's quite nice. The blue's quite nice.
Felt all hope was lost. In our lives, in the lives of the nation, we have those Saturdays to bear
Man.
witness.
If I was these kids as
Day
parents,
for
I'd be so
glory.
fucking proud.
Seeing people's pain and not looking away. Pain to purpose was the first Biden ever graduated.
Okay, so there's like 2.
Taught me.
Did we really need
I was
2?
the first Biden
Did we
ever
need the word
graduated
some
college.
for this?
Taking out loans.
A fancy law firm? Oh, for Christ's sakes.
Literally, with a woman I adored. I graduated from law school in her hometown. I got married and took a job at a law firm in my hometown, Wilmington, Delaware. But then everything changed.
True.
One of my heroes, and he was my hero, a Baptist minister, a Morehouse man, Dr. Martin Luther King. In April of my law school graduation year, he was murdered.
It's just, man, I can't get over. I cannot get over the fact that we have just allowed Biden to just fucking LARP so much about his civil rights bona fides. Like, that ages me like another like 6 months every time. Every time I'm exposed to it. It's like radiation. Like I've been struck by a rad roach. It's just ages me.
And we were segregated. Delaware
This dude
erupted into
fucking
flames when he
opposed
was
busing.
assassinated. literally. We're the only city in America with a National Guard
Assassinated,
patrol
literally.
every
Yeah, we know. That's what
9 full
assassination
months
is, my guy.
with drawn bayonets, the longest stretch of any American city since the Civil War. Dr. King's legacy had a profound impact on me and my generation, whether you were black or white.
Uh-huh.
I left the fancy law firm I had just joined.
Once again, what I say, don't bring me a boomer.
Decided to become a public defender, and then a county councilman, working to change our state's politics to embrace the cause of civil rights. The Democratic Party in Delaware was a Southern Democratic Party at the time. We wanted to change it to become.
Yeah, we've all heard about them Southern Democrats. Jesus. Like I said, I just despair. I can't help but despair when I think about this this upcoming race. There's just nothing it's just hard to get excited. It's like what in the world could we possibly be could we possibly be what's the term I'm looking for? Optimistic about. Like I don't know how to fake this optimism at this point. You know what I mean? But all right. Let me think. For now, let's why is this not? How is it? That's weird. Well, whatever. Let's what shall we do? We could do one more video. We could do one more. Yeah, let's do a quick one. All right. So if you've probably heard me talk about working in kitchens before, I make cook in real life. I make food for a living. So I take it really fucking personally whenever I see stories about the service industry, about the food industry, just in general. In this one, I started watching a bit of it, like on my own time. I just clicked on it. And I found myself to have a lot of issues, with, and I kind of want to just talk about it. So, you might have heard this company, Sweetgreen. I've never heard of it. Apparently it's like some vegetarian, vegan, fast casual Chipotle looking ass place, like a lot of other places. But it started, it seems like, a lot on like the tech end, like a lot of startups do these days. And one of the I think one of the difficulties in working in food service right now is the encroaching influence of the tech industry, the encroaching influence of tech wanting to come in and quite frankly what's the word, reshape the market, disrupt the market, which for most of us, especially those of us working in kitchens, generally means they're going to find a way to cut you out of your job and automate out your actual role, or break your role down into the point where you will work with less and less and less people. You'll prep less and less, and you'll make less and less. And eventually you'll just be the hands that put everything in a box until they can make a robot good enough to put stuff into a box. Like, that is kind of where we're at in the industry a lot of the times. Labor over the last couple of years since the pandemic has certainly gone up, as people who didn't like the industry before got out of it, as people who have a real passion for it have decided that they are no longer going to take raw deals like bad scheduling, bad pay, and everything else that goes with backbreaking fucking labor, without getting paid decently. So, you know, with that comes the time for somebody to come along and disrupt the market and find a way to cut labor out altogether. So let's go take a look. You know, you can watch we'll call, you know, when I bump this into a segment, when I break this into a segment, I'll do like, I don't know, like line cook reacts to food service tech encroachment or something. I don't know. But let's get going, shall we?
Sweet green salad starts at $14.95.
All right.
Add avocado,
Pull
and it goes
that
to
down.
$16.95. But even as it sold millions of these bowls to
Goddamn,
customers,
$2?
Sweet Green has been losing millions of dollars a month. With over 200 locations, Sweet Green is a fast casual.
Now, I want everybody to kind of look at this. Look at this.
Millions.
Okay, so this is where they're so. I thought that was a menu for a second. I got worried.
With over two.
So we got. It looks like, obviously, like I said, it's like a Chipotle sort of vibe, which is pretty much just like a, you know, that's just an open kitchen with a literal. It's just you're literally just working as a line cook, but in front of everybody. But then also, like, not only so for a long time, right? If you were a line cook, you cook the food, and then a server would go and interact with the customer and do that half of it. What fast casual has done is delete that entire server, meaning, you know, a normal person who would normally be the server, be the waiter, be whatever. Now they're gone. That job is gone. Now the customer facing, customer service part of of these jobs, you know, the actual the customer service end of it now falls to the line cook. So the line cook now has gone from making the food to making the food and being a customer service representative for every single one of these customers. Every single little issue. Go to your Chipotle. How many of them? What is it? 3 of them usually on the line, and all of them ask you questions. All of them are there to have to answer all of your stupid ass questions about what kind of beans you want, or you don't want some of this, or you do want less of that, or you want more of this, or whatever. That used to be a whole nother person's job. And that person specifically was hired to take care of the customers and to interact with them, because that is a different skill set. We've now gotten to the point. We have now gotten to a place where line cooks, the people who cook the goddamn food and prepare it, are now doing 2 people's jobs at once. Are they getting paid more for this? No. No, they're not. There is not a line cook at any of these stores, any of those Chipotles, anything, that is getting paid the combined payment of a server, waiter, and their normal kitchen wage. It's not happening. They've consolidated both of those roles into one person. You are now just, I don't really know what they call. I would assume they just call them line cooks, but they're obviously more than line cooks.
Locations, Sweet Green.
You know, you can like yell at the guy in the back at the Chipotle on the grill. Like, you can yell and ask him like stuff, and he's not allowed to just be like, I'm a cook. I don't do that part of this. That's not my job.
Green is a fast casual restaurant trying to broaden the fast.
Also, this is also, I'm just going to say it. This is fucking miserable. I fucking hate working lines like these. They're like cafeteria style lines. I fucking hate them, dude. And I'll tell you right now, each one of these people would rather be in the back working at a normal station, crafting the food without having to be in front of everybody, without having it to be a fucking assembly line. Like, we've turned so much of food service into an assembly line where one person gets the bowl, puts the fucking kale in there. Next person, they do protein. The next person, they do this. Like, in a normal kitchen, you just have one guy who's like, I do salad. I do I do the produce and all that shit. And you have somebody working a grill. It's just, but this is miserable. And you want to know why it's miserable? Because you just stand there saying the same shit over again. Do you want a black, I'm going to say it because I got Chipotle the other day, black or pinto beans? And then they give you an answer. And then you go, what kind of protein would you like? They give you an answer. You do it, pass on to the next person. Hi there. What would you like? Oh, burrito. Cool. White or brown rice? Black or pinto beans? Move on. Hi, how are you doing today? Burrito, white or brown rice? Black or pinto beans? What kind of protein would you like? It is that for hour after hour after hour after hour after fucking hour. And God for fucking bid, like, you know, you get stuck on one of those lines on your own, and you not only have to do down to what protein, then it's what protein would you like? Then it's what toppings would you like? You put a topping on. Oh, can I get a little bit less of that? Okay, now I got to take it off a little bit. Okay, then this, you know, this one, then if it's and it's just it's fucking soul crushing, man. It's fucking soul crushing to have to ask everybody the exact same fucking question. And it's why we had servers and we had menus back like however long ago. Because the whole thing was you sat down and a server goes like, all right, what can we get you? Do they kind of do the same spiel? Kind of. But because they're only serving a handful of people and a couple tables, it's a lot more of an interpersonal interaction. They're usually like, somebody's usually like, oh, I like this. Like, can you recommend me something? Or like, oh yeah, I've been here before. Can I get this with this, with this, with this? And, you know, or somebody goes like, oh, hey, I have allergies. You have a problem to solve. It's engaging for people. But we've cut so much of that out of like modern food service. We've cut so much of that personal touch to it. You are now just an assembly line worker. You are no different than the guy who like cranks the lug nut twice, moves on, cranks lug nut, move on, cranks lug nut, go. Like, and it's like 5 hours, like it's literally the 5 hours later and you're still doing the same shit. And guess what? Then you got to go home. You've been standing all day. Your fucking knees hurt. Your feet hurt. Your back hurts. You go the fuck home. You get some rest. You know, maybe you play some video games. Get some rest. Go back and do the exact same shit for another 8 fucking hours.
Fast food market to include
if you can't tell, this is a very personal.
But building the
this is a very
infrastructure and
personal
logistics to accomplish this
segment
goal
for me.
hasn't come cheap.
We're not that fancy yet.
They've always sort of branded themselves as a tech company. And so they talked a lot about changing the food system. At one point, they said that they wanted to be the McDonald's of better eating. Now they've had to translate some of those lofty ambitions into reality, and that's challenging.
And everyone wants to do this. What people don't understand is there's a reason why McDonald's is the way McDonald's is. It's because it's cheap and it's trash. Trying to be the McDonald's of healthy food is an oxy-fucking-moron. You don't do healthy food. You don't do good, healthy produce at this volume, at the volume that they're aiming for, and still be making healthy food like that. It's just not, that is simply not a thing. Because not just healthy, clean food takes time.
This is the economics of Sweetgreen. Sweetgreen brought in hundreds of millions in investment before going public in November 2021.
Yep.
In an SEC filing, it reported having about 1.35 million active customers. After its IPO, its stock surged to bring the company's value to over $6 billion.
And here's the big question, right? Here's always the thing. When you go, and I know I'm stopping a lot. Oh, thanks, Dex. I appreciate that. When a company like this goes public, understand that like none of the actual workers who like legitimize that stock value get any piece of this. They continue to go on their assembly line and ask, ask burrito or bowl, white or black rice, white or brown rice, black or pinto beans, what protein would you like? Like they're not seeing any of this value. The people who are seeing these value are all of those investors who are now going to buy and sell stock based on this company to turn a profit, to flip it and turn a profit. That's what's going to inevitably happen. Meanwhile, when they find out that this business model is just not that sustainable, and that being the McDonald's of healthy food kind of just means you're not making healthy food and therefore undermining your entire like mission statement, then people kind of realize, oh, this actually isn't that great of quality. I'm just going to go somewhere that's not fast casual to get that. And then revenue goes down, and then hours get cut, and then wages go down. And then, we see and then it's just a house of cards. And at the end of all of it, a few shareholders made a couple million, got out before the fall. The owners probably did the same. Meanwhile, the average worker busted their knees, busted their feet, busted their backs, lived incredibly like unfulfilling, boring lives on a fucking service line, assembly service line, and now they got to go just look for another job. That, guess what, is another service assembly line job where they can ask a different set of questions. If I can think of another restaurant, I will.
I'm obsessed.
But its market cap has since fallen to almost 1/4 of that. While individual Sweetgreen locations are profitable, the company has struggled to overcome high overhead costs. In its last quarterly report, the company announced net losses of more than $27 million. The company's costs begin with its salads.
Unsustainable. Just looking at that, unsustainable.
Of what we do. We buy really, really high quality food from farmers we know and trust.
Most restaurants source their food through distributors, which give them access to a wide range of food at low prices. And
by the way, I have worked at places where we also got our food from high quality vendors and farmers and everything else. And you know what happened after a little bit? Well, first of all, the pandemic, but second of all, eventually you expand too big and you can't keep buying, they can't source all of that. And then suddenly you're getting frozen products. You went from thawed. You went from regular ground beef patties that were never frozen. You got them within a couple days of the slaughterhouse to now we're just buying cases of just frozen shit. And I'm throwing down like a fucking frozen patty as a brick hard, like a fucking clack every time that goes on that grill top. Because eventually you can't, those kinds of places, those local farmers can't scale up. Those local farmers are local farmers. They can scale to their local areas and to their few chosen vendors, or I guess their customers, clients, yeah, whatever. But there's no ability to scale those kinds of places. And then eventually you got to get your protein from somewhere. Eventually someone's got to provide you with the rest of the produce. When was this actually posted? This just popped up for me. This was posted 8 months ago. How much do you want to bet within the next 5 years we are going to hear about an E. coli breakout? We're going to hear about some sort of, I don't know, some sort of food quality issue involving shipments that made it to Sweetgreen. To which everybody who goes there will go, I thought you guys were getting it from small farmers. Well, it turns out the small farmers haven't been able to keep up since they went national. Then at the end of the day, you got to get your romaine somewhere. And, sure, you'd like to buy the best products, but when you got restaurants across the nation, you're going to have to use the normal distributors that everybody else does.
And on top of that, these distributors handle the transportation logistics. Sweetgreen, on the other hand, works directly with farms. Another major cost is labor.
That's sustainable for a local restaurant. Absolutely sustainable for a local restaurant. It's not for any kind of national McDonald's of healthy food.
And ship it out around the country. In order to maximize the taste and the freshness, we believe food should be made closer to where the guests are eating the food. So we actually make our food every day in our fresh prep kitchen.
Beyond restaurant level.
Oh, also, yeah, if you want to know why, I know not everybody's always a fan, but if you want to know why In-N-Out is as high quality as it is, it's because they put distribution centers very close to their restaurants, or they don't do business there. And that is the only real way to sustain this. Sweetgreen would have to literally open farms at scale if they wanted to do this consistently.
Expenses, Sweetgreen has also put a lot of money into technology.
We built out from just having a pickup channel to building our own native delivery, partnering with
Oh
some
yeah,
marketplaces,
fuck
even building
that.
catering and our outpost business. We've also been able to integrate machine learning and AI in order to personalize a lot of the recommendations that we give.
Oh, and that's disgusting. Fucking made me throw up in my mouth. This is where I stopped watching because that made me throw up in my mouth. I had to take like 5 minutes out of my day to brush my teeth and do some mouthwash. Fucking disgusting. AI to fucking. Why don't you just? Did you see how many employees we just had in this building? What are we at? 231. I want you to look how many fucking people they just had. Where was that fucking? Show me the restaurant real quick. Show me like how many fucking people on staff they had. There. Do you see how many fucking people they have on staff here? You can't AI learning to give you a record. Just ask somebody. Why are we like this? I need to know, why are we like this? Why do you need a machine to fucking tell you what it thinks you'll like? There is a perfectly nice abuela right there. Of them. And they all can tell you what is good here. Like, what frustrates me so much, like, this goes back to so many other issues with the isolation of Americans these days, but it's maddening. Why does it feel like this society has decided that we would rather get our recommendations from a fucking machine? Do your friends charge you? Fuck, dude. Like, and this is what I mean. Like, all this is driving people out who it used to be their fucking job. You know what? This is what people should do. I know everybody's seen it. Go watch The Fucking Bear. But more specifically, go watch, I think it's the second to last episode, or maybe it's the episode where Richie goes and learns to be a waiter or whatever the fuck. Or I forget what position that he technically goes to learn. But like that's somebody's job to like recommend things and ask about your allergy stuff and your allergies and everything else, and like that's and like that's all this asshole does. That's all this fucking asshole does. He just cuts people who that used to be their job, was giving a shit about people, and replacing it with a fucking machine, with a fucking algorithm. And it pushes good people out of the industry. Or it pushes them into only fine dining, which is like, what? So only restaurants with Michelin stars have people who give a fuck? Everybody else is just another cog in the fucking wheel? That's what they're turning us all into.
A lot of the recommendations that we give you, as well as things like our loyalty program.
Sweetgreen hasn't just built tech for customers. It's also built apps for employees to plan out how much food to make at different times of day, so food is fresh but ready when they expect customers.
I would say that the founders...
That's called a fucking par sheet. That's not new. Like, that's not even innovation. That's literally called a par sheet. Almost any decently run restaurant has par sheets.
Are trying to be more disciplined now. They've also earned a lot in stock compensation, and I think there is certain amount of
you're fucking right
thinking there. But I mean,
shit, when your compensation is tied to your stock price, as long as the stock price goes up, as long as you're delivering value to shareholders,
they are coming down to earth a bit and trying to trim expenses where they can and try to become more efficient. But again, it's going to take time.
And how long do you think it's going to be until, again, like I said, until they just end up going the route of buying lower quality produce and proteins, or like, look how many people are on this fucking line, bruv. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then maybe there's a cashier at the end. No, I think that's a 7th person. There are 7 people on this fucking line, along with it looks like homegirl prep cook, possibly dishes in the back, along with it looks like another person back there at the window as well. And you're telling me it takes like this, and this is what it looks like. Like, this is inefficient. Let me be clear. It's inefficient to have 7 people on a fucking line. This line is fucking absurd, idiotic, moronic. Like what the fuck is this? And they're going to find out that it's inefficient. They're going to find out that it's costly, and they're going to fire most of these people. And then you're going to get like 1 or 2 people having to run this entire thing. All because they wanted to be the McDonald's of healthy foods. How about you just open a good restaurant in your local? How about that? How about we just open a good restaurant, get all those investors, open one good restaurant in one good area, and you can hire a bunch of cooks and a bunch of wait staff and a bunch of everything else, and you're good. Like, it already costs a lot to start a restaurant, but everyone wants to do the fast casual thing because you can quickly get it off the ground. You can quickly upscale, go public, make some shareholder compensation. The rest be damned. Like, you know, by the time this starts to sink, no doubt the owner's already gonna have sold most of their shares, or at that point, you know, it's not their, you know, it's not like when the company goes down, they would have still got all their compensation from the good years. Meanwhile, these people are gonna get back on the unemployment line and end up back on a line just like this.
Question is, how to do that without changing the parts of the business that customers care about?
Our path to profitability on a net income basis comes from a few levers. The first is continuing to grow our footprint. This year, we're opening about 35 new restaurants. Second, 35 is growing sales in existing stores, where a huge portion of that increase goes to lifting the profitability of those restaurants. The third is...
And an easy way to do this, by the way, I know, I'm stopping a lot. What do you want from me? I'm literally a line cook. I'm going to stop a lot, so you're just gonna have to live with that. This is the content that you chose to watch. Hello, everybody. How do you think they're gonna do that? They're gonna do that by consolidating the menu eventually. Like, looking at that line, and based on what they're doing, way too many ingredients, way too many options. They're gonna eventually consolidate all that down to, like, you know, probably half of what it is now, and probably keep prices about the same, so that more people are just getting the standardized thing, which means less ingredients to order, less ingredients to prep, less prep cooks needed, less serving staff needed. Boom, right there.
Is being very disciplined on our cost structure to make sure that the incremental profit we're making is flowing through the bottom line.
Sweetgreen has closed some restaurants in cities like Boston and New York. It's also had some layoffs.
How the
fuck
do
you... challenges for the business has clearly been the pandemic and the recovery from the pandemic.
How the fuck do you close in Boston and New York?
Concentrated in urban centers, but recently it's been focused on expanding outside cities.
I think we're going to continue to build out in the markets that we currently operate in, and looking to open up 1 or 2 new markets a year for the next several years.
Sweetgreen recently hired 2 former Chipotle executives to help make.
Oh boy! Oh fucking boy! Yeah, paragon of good business, fucking Chipotle. Great.
Wider range of customers, especially as it expands.
Yeah, let me look at this. Italian chop, salami, spicy banana peppers, heirloom tomatoes, cucumbers, organic chickpeas, organic red onions, shaved Parmesan, chopped romaine, organic shredded kale, red wine vinaigrette. Jesus H fucking Christ. That's like one bowl too. Elote bowl, roasted corn and peppers, shredded cabbage, tomatoes. I'm gonna hope that those are still heirloom. Cilantro, goat cheese, sunflower seeds, organic tortilla chips, organic warm quinoa, organic arugula, lime, cilantro, jalapenos, vinaigrette. Jesus. Barbecue one, blackened chicken, shredded cabbage. Thank God we have 1 crossover ingredient. Organic red onions. That's good. Tomatoes, I'm going to assume. That's another one. Apple cilantro. That's another one. Tortilla chips again. Chopped romaine. Shredded kale, lily cues, honey baby Q sauce, green goddess ranch. Good God. And like, again, of the 3 of these, there just isn't that much, like, there's like a bit of crossover, but there's a bunch of shit that only goes to these. I can't read any of these over here. Like, I can't fucking read all of these, but like, look at all these, like, you can kind of see, look at these fucking ingredients for each one of these. It's unsustainable. It's unsustainable at volume like this. Again, unless you skimp on quality. That's the only way. It's the only way you're gonna get there eventually. You know, Chipotle. I remember when Chipotle was also kind of the healthy option, and we all kind of know how that turned out.
Expands past major cities. That's important because its path to profitability centers on having enough profitable restaurants to offset overhead. To make each restaurant more profitable, it's also counting on increasing loyalty and leveraging technology. Sweetgreen has experimented with loyalty programs for years, and its most recent effort is something called SweetPass.
SweetPass.
There are a few tiers in the program.
God.
In the paid version of SweetPass, customers pay $10 per month
paid version?
to get $3 off one salad per day. So a customer would have to spend at least $40 on salads per month to come out ahead.
In general, restaurants are really pushing these loyalty programs because it makes a lot of sense to try to get someone hooked. You know, it's harder to advertise to a new customer than it is to try to just keep current one coming. But, you know, if you're going to eat that every day for lunch, that is going to add up.
Sweetgreen.
Fuck, dude, and like, do I need to ask it? Who wants to eat the same fucking thing every day? Like, understand that this is the ecosystem that they want to create for everybody. Is that you end up going to literally the same place. Like, you know, a lot of people, they work in an area where there are limited choices. There are, like, you know, if you work in a mall, you have whatever's in your mall. If you work like in a shopping center, you have what's in your shopping center. If you work, you know, wherever you work, maybe you have to drive to go get lunch or whatever. If you have to like leave, like, maybe there's like a couple places within the local area, but a lot of these places are trying to do like fucking like music service, like fucking Spotify subscriptions to get you to like, oh no, come on. You pay $10 a month. You might as well fucking come here and get your $3 off every single day. Like, it's literally addict shit. And you might say, oh, but Josh, like, they're, you know, it's like healthy food. So isn't that like a good addiction? Well, I don't really know if anything being an addiction is good, A. But B, who's benefiting from this? Like, they're the ones benefiting the most from this. They've got you hooked. It's no different than any like drug peddler. They've got you hooked, baby. And it's and this is what they want. This is what a lot of these places want. They want everybody to kind of just go to their individual thing. Like, oh yeah, I go to Sweetgreen every day. Talk to your like other coworker. Oh yeah, I got a fucking what's a place? I got a fucking Noodles and Company card. And then what? Then everybody just like, nobody goes to lunch with each other. Everyone just kind of goes to their separate lunch funnels. Like, it's just more funneling. It's more funneling. Like, that is what our economy is beginning to drive more and more of these companies to do, is just funnel people constantly. And again, I'll keep saying it. Unsustainable. Quality and everything, unsustainable. It's not even going to be the healthy choice after a point. It'll be like, it will be better, but it'll land somewhere around Chipotle quality, which Chipotle, if I remember correctly, is like obviously better than like McDonald's, but also rather saltier. Exactly.
It hasn't shared how many people have signed up for its loyalty program, which it still considers a pilot. Another key
Fight the
strategy
funnel.
moving forward
Fight the funnel, Dex. Fight it.
In 2021,
What is this? Oh, for
Sweetgreen bought
fuck.
Spice Food Co., a startup that makes automated food assemblies. And earlier this year, it opened its first so-called Infinite Kitchen in Naperville, Illinois, where salads are assembled robotically. That enabled it to hire 1/3 fewer staff without sacrificing efficiency. Sweetgreen plans to continue rolling this out to new locations and hopes to retrofit an existing location in late 2024.
They're already doing it. They're already cutting the staff. This works in one store, it'll work in 2, it'll work in 3, and next thing you know, it won't be any different from your fucking Whole Foods. You'll go in and there won't be a fucking soul to give you a recommendation. At least, you know, at least growing up, where can I know? I don't know if I can show it. I probably can't. Okay. So there was an episode of Jimmy Neutron, the show. Let me see if I can find it. Jimmy Neutron show restaurant? Yeah. Okay, let's see. Can I like find? Yeah, okay. So he like starts this restaurant that's like all fucking automated and shit. Like it doesn't do anything. Like he doesn't do anything at the actual this shit. What is this called? I don't even remember what it's called. Men at Work is the episode. Yeah. But yeah, and it's all like you roll up. Can I see the scanner? Because there's like a scanner. It like scans. Come on. Like, I know if I show it, I'm just gonna get fucking yeeted. I don't feel like Nickelodeon is gonna be nice. Even though they should be nicer to me. I'm a fucking millennial. Thanks for ruining my childhood, guys. Is this? No, this isn't it. Fuck, I don't know if I can find it. Or at least I don't know if I can get a picture of it. Okay, maybe we'll try. Oh, wait. Okay, wait, does TikTok have it? Stop with the sounds. Okay. Yeah, it's literally you like roll up to this thing. It fucking scans your shit. And then it just fucking automatically makes it, right? And like by the end of the episode, everyone's fucking sick and tired of it because the algorithm just gives them the same fucking food over and over and over again because it's like, oh, you like this based on history, you're gonna like this. Guess what? They're the exact same thing. The thing you just ordered, why not have it again? Oh my god. And again, like all of this to just avoid asking a person at a counter, what do you like? Can you give me a recommendation? That's the only thing that they've innovated on.
Probably the biggest improvement for our customers is much faster throughput. Typically, you can order your salad and have it ready in under 3 minutes, even in a very busy store.
We believe what this will allow us to do is provide a superior economic model. This will significantly impact and improve our unit economics, which will
I say this to every worker. Every worker should destroy these machines. Every worker should attack these machines.
Pricing power as we think about
the fucking second Renaissance style. Do it.
For everyone.
Sweetgreen has made some progress towards profitability.
Good God.
The company announced it was profitable.
This is also, by the way, why we need unions. This is because understand, they are control alt deleting the people at those stores through the money that there are human beings that made salads and made this company money only for them to turn around and invest in deleting their jobs and just installing a robot. You literally worked so hard and so well that they control alt deleted your job.
For the first time, though this comes with some qualifications. Sweetgreen is only profitable based on a measure called EBITDA, which excludes a variety of costs such as taxes.
Also, if you've ever been to like the self-checkout line at like every grocery store now, get ready for that, but being every single restaurant. Like one person having to run around and fix every issue that the machines make.
Pretty heavy list of things that aren't included.
Oh my god.
But by doing this, I mean, they can say that they just...
And God forbid the person who's like trying to fix it isn't actually like food certified or anything, or don't know anything about food like at all, and they're just like, I don't, you know, and they like, oh my god, I
had
I
the
despair.
first profitable quarter, which is in Q2, and they want to show some progress to investors, and I think that does show a certain magnitude.
Hey,
of progress,
investors, we deleted a bunch of jobs and bought robots instead. Look how much more profitable we are.
A national business based on 3 things. It creates a new category in the market, has capital to expand, and maintains a loyal customer base.
You see sweet.
Better. Next question. Where the fuck do all the people who would have worked here work? They just go back to the Taco Bells? What do they? Do they go to the What's the real? What did they go to the Mod Market? Does Mod Market get bought out by this? Because they're both kind of the same, like, clean eating brand. And then what? Those people's jobs get deleted. Then who buys the salads? The only people left are going to be like upper middle class folks, and everybody else will be fucking, I don't know, at the McDonald's, or I don't even know. Like, you run this all the way to the end, and you're just like, all right, so there's no more jobs for people who aren't working in Michelin kitchens. You know, local restaurants can't compete with this sort of stuff. Or fuck, dude.
Green is having all three of those ingredients.
Fucking unionize, all of you, every single one of you.
To be challenges as we scale,
for
whether it's
God's
how we scale our
sakes.
supply chain, how we scale our
For fucking
technology,
God's
how we
sakes.
scale
For your
our
own sake.
leadership. But I think the big thing is proving that this type of offering can work all around the country.
I think they're pretty honest that they're trying to become a more mature business now. And, you know, for a young company founded by young founders, that makes sense that that's a little bumpy.
Oh my God. Fucking, oh my God. It's just that this is where we're at, folks. This is just where we're at. Like I said, have fun. Have fun, you know, when there's no longer a person making your food. That is at the end of the day what is this is all driving towards, is separating you from the person who makes your food. As if you're already not separated from it enough as it is. As if we're all not atomized and isolated as it is. Fucking A, man. And for people like me, work food service most of their professional life. You wonder, shit, fuck am I gonna do? I'm gonna go work. Do I have to go work in a Michelin kitchen? Are there, how many of these are gonna run whatever shop I'm in out of business? Or, do you eventually just have to kind of tap out and go get in the assembly line? And what kind of life are you looking at then? It's not like any of those jobs. None of those assembly line ones pay particularly well. Why would they? They're all like, you're just a cog. You all you do is put protein, rice, and beans on the burrito. You don't even do the produce and the toppings. Fucking A. I'm glad they were Chipotle executives though. I'm glad I used that as a comparison, and then it ended up being Chipotle executives. Oh my God. Awful. All right. Well, this has been fun. I hope everyone had a good time. Can't wait to edit this. I'm probably not going to even cut anything out. Yeah, we did some recap. I know, I didn't really do a this is the end of recap thing. Getting into the swing of things still. This is still I think only third stream since coming back. But either way, what do I have to say? Not much. Everyone have a lovely day. It's now actually a lot later than I thought it was. So I'll see you all tomorrow. And yeah. Oh yeah. Well, Wednesday might be a daytime stream too. That'll be fun. Okay. Anyway, let's get out of here. Everyone have a nice night. Bye-bye.